Hi, I'm Dave Anthony, and this is the 2021-2022 Playoff Series preview for the Manitoba Junior Hockey League Round 1 Steinbach Pistons versus the Selkirk Steelers. I'm joined now with Jake Maurice, voice of the Winnipeg Blues, and Kevin Pauls, voice of the Winkler Flyers. Guys, thanks for doing this today. Not the teams you have voiced this year, but teams you've seen a lot of. And Jake, we'll start with you. The Selkirk Steelers are coming in here as underdogs. What do they need to do against a top team like the Steinbach Pistons?
Big underdogs. One of the first things they'll need to do is just get themselves back up to game speed. It's going to be almost 2 weeks Friday since Selkirk has last played a game. So they're going to need to get their legs under them right away, because with how fast Steinbach is, you can't afford to come out with slow feet. Otherwise, they'll just run right over you. And Selkirk, they need to control the play along the walls. They need things to get nasty. Selkirk is a team that is filled with grit, with sandpaper. And when you're going up against a team that is more skilled than you, slowing down the game, making it just more of a slog fest, a bit of nastiness after the whistle doesn't hurt anybody if you're Selkirk. So just kind of slow the game down and get the Steelers nice and banged up throughout the series, and then try and wear them down like that.
Kevin, you've seen the Winkler Flyers play the Steinbach Pistons a number of times this year. What makes Steinbach a frustrating team to play against? Where do they excel, and what do you expect them to bring in round one?
Well, they don't quit. They're well organized. They're well coached. Like we talked earlier, it's more so about just a concerted effort up and down the line, staying out of the penalty box, being responsible in all the areas, because the defense for the Pistons is very strong. They move the puck really well. They've got some really good skaters in Zach Patrick, Jackson Betcher, guys like that. Obviously, goaltending speaks for itself. It's been obviously the best in the league with Will Hambley. But from the defensive end all the way up the ice, you cannot afford to make any mistakes while they're out there.
Jake, let's talk special teams. Selkirk struggled on the power play in the series against Steinbach. In fact, they finished just 2 for 43. What does Selkirk need to do on the man advantage if they want to be in this series? Because power plays make a big difference in the playoffs.
Yeah, power play certainly make a big difference. One thing that they'll need to do, kind of unrelated to the power play, but just related to keeping themselves up on the scoreboard, is watch for the Pistons forwards on their penalty kill, because guys like Travis Hensrud love to go up and try and get shorthanded chances. So you need to be aware when they're killing penalties. Just sometimes it might even be worth it to just take the puck and keep it in control in the neutral zone, rather than try and hold in a bouncing puck at the blue line in your skates. Because if Hensrud pokes that out from behind you and goes on a breakaway with it, you don't want to give the Pistons momentum from a shorthanded goal. Apart from that, I'd love to see more shots from them, from their quarterbacks at the blue line, Connor Teehee, Spencer Penner, those kind of guys. Look for those lanes through traffic. The Pistons goaltenders are elite, so take away their eyes, just because obviously that just makes things much easier for yourselves. And then if you can't get a tip to put it in the back of the net, you got to get in there, take the whacks, take whatever Steinbach throws your way, and get that rebound and pound it home.
Kevin, really interesting for the Steinbach Pistons. Jake kind of alluded to it. The penalty kill has been really, really good, but the power play has turned it up as well. From your point of view, what makes Steinbach's power play so effective, and how does Selkirk kind of deal with what the Pistons are going to throw multiple looks with multiple different players?
I think it's just the sheer amount of weapons that the Pistons have to bring to bear. It's just up and down the lineup. There's guys, you have your standard, your league leaders, the team leaders, Quentin Pepper, and then you have the Millikins. There's a number of guys up and down that lineup. It's just they keep coming in wave after wave. And like I said, with their defense, they move the puck so well. They do give you a number of looks, and they have a 1-2 different option power play. So it's just going to be a matter of just focusing and hopefully staying out of the box altogether. Because when you have a defense that can move the puck and a goalie that can stop it, geez, that's a tough task.
Jake, let's talk goaltending of the Selkirk Steelers. They kind of went back and forth through most of the year. Hunter Tarvez ended up, getting the bulk of the starts against the Pistons. What do you think of the Steelers' goaltending situation, and maybe what do they do early on in this series?
I wouldn't be surprised early on if they kind of did, like, we'll try Cole Plowman one night and then we'll try Hunter Tarvis the next, see who's hot, because no matter how good your goaltender is, if they're cold, then you're not going anywhere with them. So there might be a little bit of that. Both guys had similar numbers this season, so it's not like you're going to have an advantage one way or the other in the stats compartment. But looking at the Steelers net, in the crease. It's not as strong as the Pistons, but both guys have proven that they're legitimate junior A netminders this year. It's the first real playoff run for these guys, and these guys are going to be coming back next season. So this year, just get that playoff experience for them as well. And the Steelers, they do have confidence that their netminders can win these games for them.
I love that it looks like Kevin's beard grew legs and is now harassing you.
Yeah, someone wants to get her a little bit of 15 minutes of fame.
Kevin, before we get into an unsung hero, perhaps, and in a series prediction, let's talk about the Pistons' 15-game winning streak heading into the playoffs, plus home ice advantage throughout the playoffs. And that TG Smith Center may be one of the most difficult places to play, not just because of the rink dimensions, but because the fans are right on top of you and it gets really loud and rowdy. Do you believe that momentum can carry into the playoffs from a regular season, and how will home ice impact the Steinbach Pistons playoff run?
I do, because the Pistons just bring in that sense of, that sheer sense of overwhelming success. They've on quite a bit of a run. The Steelers kind of had to get in the back door, so to speak. They had to let the Terriers kind of just falter down the stretch and make it in that way. On the other hand, I did have a chance to talk to one of their coaches, Harry Mash, and he said they were very positive. So they're taking the standpoint of being giant killers. That's how they're going to have to look at it. The pressure's off, so to speak. But Steinbach, just, like you said, with that crowd and that ominous lineup, it's going to be a tall task.
All right, boys, let's find an unsung hero in a series prediction. Jake, we'll start with you.
Well, I think Selkirk, their strongest line is actually their second, Matthew Catelier and Jordan Huseman. Everyone knows about them. But also Tyson Smith on the right wing. He's an excellent passer, has great vision, especially in the attacking zone. So if they can have him going and have his vision at the elite level that it is throughout the year, then he can give the Steelers opportunities that even the Pistons' strong defense doesn't notice and give them the kind of looks they need. As Kevin alluded to, the pressure is completely off of Selkirk. They're playing with house money here. A lot of people didn't even have them as a playoff team coming into this year. So they can just kind of take it all in stride and use this as a learning experience for the future. If Selkirk does want to win this series, I think they need to take one of the first two games. You can't let the Pistons go up 2-0 on you, because it's hard enough to beat Steinbach with 7 tries, but beating them 4 of 5 times, that is near impossible. I think that Selkirk will get 1, but I'm taking the Pistons in 5.
Kevin, we'll go to you. Give us a player that you think is going to have a big impact on this series for the Pistons and a prediction.
I'm going with Dawson Milliken. I mean, I know the guy's had a lot of success too, but every time I watch him, he's just a hair's breadth away from just absolutely stepping on things and distancing himself from the crowd. I really like what he does, and he's just another weapon that the Pistons have, maybe not as lauded as some of the other ones. However, I think he can be dominant in the game at any time. Also, that crowd in Steinbach is going to be a major factor too. I think it will be tough. I do think the Steelers may steal one, like Jake said, but I think it'll be Pistons in 5.
Gentlemen, if the predictions go as you guys say, then we'll see one of you at the TG Smith Center in round 2, and maybe hopefully both of you sometime sooner rather than later. Thanks for doing this today, guys. I really appreciate the time, and best of luck in your own series.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave. You too.